Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are spotlighting a new community event. It's TechBayanihan, a conference taking place in Manila, Philippines on August 2nd and 3rd. Several of the event's organizers are joining me on this episode: Christopher Ruyeras, Cecile Dinh, Ahmed Salih, and Doher Drizzle Pablo, also known as Drizzle. My guests explain why they're helping to form this event, why empowering Filipinos on the latest Microsoft technology, including Copilot and Fabric, is so important in this moment, and what they're doing to help build the community. We discuss how Biz Apps and other Microsoft technology communities have already been evolving in the Philippines over the last 4 years as groups have moved from virtual to physical. The group talks to me about some of the preparation work that they have been doing from so many locations around the world. That work has included staying focused on the event priority of including students who are looking to develop their Power Platform skills for job training. The event is actively looking for donors who can sponsor more students to attend for free, and we'll discuss that with some information on how you can get involved. And for some of the organizers, the event will offer them either a first visit to the Philippines or a return to the country after many years away. We talk about what they're looking forward to and their hopes for the event, so let's hear from them. All right. Well, I am here with a really great group. In fact, a group of people, maybe the largest podcast guest group of people who I don't actually know very well. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know a little bit more about each of you and this event that we're going to be talking about today. Well, first, let me say hi to you, Cecile. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for helping me organize this conversation today. Can you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself if they don't know you?
Hey, thank you, Jason. Really appreciate this time. I'm Cecile Dinh. I'm based in Arizona. My office in Washington, D.C. I work with Airlines Reporting Corporation, and I recently became Microsoft MVP. So I'm really excited with this podcast because you will hear more about our event going on the Philippines this August. We try to make this very similar to our Dynamics user group, Dynamics Con Live here in the US, just very similar also with, the Summit North America. So I am really excited to really see this happen in the Philippines the first time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. While we bring in some of the other guests, we have Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing, Jason? Good morning.
I'm great. Great to have you here. I don't think we've actually met before, but I did recognize your name when Cecile sort of brought you into this, so it's great to have you. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself if they haven't heard of you?
Definitely. So my name is Ahmed Salih, and I'm based in Memphis, Tennessee. I work as a manager of business applications development at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and I'm also a Microsoft Business Application MVP. I'm heavily participating in the Microsoft Power Up program for the Microsoft Power Platform training. It's a free program to train students, career switchers to learn Microsoft Power Platform. So I'm very, very excited that we are hosting this first event in Manila, Philippines. It's going to be my first time actually to visit Philippines. And I'm very, very education oriented. So I love to help students. And I see that there is going to be a great potential to just spotlight on new technologies, trending technologies in a country like Philippines, where we can engage young professional adults and students.
Yeah, that's one of the topics I'm really interested to learn a little bit more here today as well. And but before we go any further, we also have Kris Ruyeras. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. Can you tell our listeners a little more about yourself?
I'd love to. My name is Kris Ruyeras. I'm currently Vice President for Tagunia. So we are a partner. It's an organization that is pure remote. So I am located in Washington State, close to Redmond area, I would say that, and basically home of Microsoft, right? I'm also an MVP for business application as well. I'm very excited about this whole conference, this TechBayanihan, being able to help, young talents in getting into maybe business application. ERP is sort of new or kind of new, not really a big presence that I'm aware of in the Philippines. And I'm looking forward to assist there. I'm also education driven. I do have a blog that shares tips and tricks regarding business application, kind of covers the Dynamics 365 space. And I also, just like you, Jason, co-host a podcast as well. So appreciate being the other side of this podcast. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I do know your podcast. You've had some amazing guests recently. So it's, I guess, is it Dynamics Corner or Dynamics Corner Chair?
It's called Dynamics Corner. The chair is an addition. Just for a short history, we started just tips and tricks in that podcast and eventually became, let's put someone in the corner in the chair and be a guest. And so that's why the chair ended up being there. But the podcast itself is Dynamics Corner.
You've had some amazing conversations, and it's funny. I was looking at your LinkedIn just in prep for this conversation. We probably crossed paths like a dozen times at different events.
Sure
so we'll have to say hello at the next one. But that's it's one of the great things about doing podcasts, right? Like you talk to people that you maybe wouldn't have had just started a conversation with normally. So yeah, great to have you here too. And we also have I don't know if she's available right now, but we have Doher here. Oh, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, welcome. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
All right, so hi everyone. I'm Doher Drizzle Pablo. Yes, I have a long name, but in the Microsoft world, they know me as Drizzle, so you can call me Drizzle. I'm also one of the MVPs for BizApps, and currently I am a solution architect for Acument. Acument is a startup Microsoft partner. Their headquarters is here in Sweden. That's why they asked me to move. I just moved here in Sweden last January, but I am really born and raised in the Philippines. So I'm a pure Filipina. Okay. And then for TechBayanihan, we're very, very excited to share this great news because this is like the first big community event in the Philippines, which is also supported 100% by Microsoft. Well, Microsoft is one of our co-organizer. And then they are bringing, let's say, the big four, the global big four companies as our sponsors as well for the event. But overall, this event is just more on empowering our fellow Filipinos on everything about the latest when it comes to Microsoft technology, especially when it comes to Copilot. We'll be having some official launching. Let's say the BizApps Copilot in the Philippines will be launched as well during the event. And then, of course, some of the launching for Microsoft 365, Azure, and even sharing about the next big thing about data, which is the Fabric. So again, it's almost the same event like the ones that we have here in North America and Europe, like the previous Microsoft Power Platform Conference, Community Summit North America. We're just bringing that experience in the Philippines. So yes, I'm so privileged to be here in this podcast and sharing the stage with my fellow co-organizers. So thank you so much, Jason, for extending this platform to us.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure, and it's great to have you all here, and now to know a little bit more about you all. And Drizzle, as you started to talk about, maybe we can get some of the other guests to add their voice. Like one of the things I wanted to start with was sort of what is the state of, the community in the Philippines. I know that there's a big Microsoft tech community there. I know that there are BizApps experts there, who live and work in the Philippines, work internationally as well. Can anyone else sort of maybe set the stage a bit more about what the event landscape and sort of what the community has been doing actively up till now, or maybe in the last couple of years to really stay connected and how that community's developed?
We just started our community building during the pandemic, actually. No, 1 year before the pandemic. We had our initial ASEAN Biz Apps. We usually have regular in-person events, and we usually run it in the office in Makati, in Microsoft Philippines. I can still remember that before the lockdown, like the long lockdown for 2 years, we had our last community event and we were talking about Power Virtual Agent. And then after that, we were really consistent, like monthly, we have an activity for the community. So the consistency is there. And then after a year, there were opportunities for other leaders to step up and then start their own communities. So fast forward 4 years now, if we're going to combine some of our top communities in the Philippines. We have around 73,500 active community members. And we also have leaders and volunteers from those communities. Let's say we have Power BI Pilipinas with around 15,000 members, Data Analytics Philippines with around 53,000 members. We have BizApps Pinoy community with around 4,000 members. So all of these, the only platform that we're using right now is Facebook because, as you know, in the Philippines, we love Facebook. So we're just using that platform to reach out and able and, of course, start the connection, collaboration across our fellow Filipino community members. That's why this is also one of the reason why we said, yes, it's the right time for us to hold this first in-person paid community event because we already have the numbers and then the engagement and dedication of our fellow community members and leaders. So when it comes to the current activities for this said event for TechBayanihan 2024, we have regular cadence with Microsoft APAC because they are one of our co-organizers. We ensure that we are aligned when it comes to the branding, demand generation, and other marketing activities. Second is, of course, we're doing some social media marketing, let's say Facebook and LinkedIn. Like we're running some campaigns so that we'll be able to reach out more attendees because our target attendees are mixed of students, IT professionals, decision makers, and citizen developers. So those are our current activities, and on the back end, we're already preparing what's needed for the actual event because we're looking at 2 weeks before the event, everything should be ready. So it's gonna be like we're hoping for at least a stress-free event. Hoping at least 0 to 70% stress-free event because I know it's something big, so we need to be prepared ahead. So something like that.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking, right? I mean, what have some of you been doing from your side? Cecile, do you want to talk a little bit about what some of your efforts have been so far and maybe what you plan to do in the next 6 to 8 weeks to get ready for the event?
We've been meeting every Saturday. We, brainstorming, bring our suggestions and bringing our minds together to really make this event successful because all of us organizers are experience in this kind of event. We've been speaking in the event. We are also volunteering as a advisory committee. So we really have the kind of understanding how this is gonna flow. And I'm so happy with my co-organizers. They're very brilliant. They're all smart. So I'm so privileged to be with them. so I'm so happy that we were just thinking about this early this year, and then suddenly, yes, this is the group. So thank you, Drizzle, because you gave me an opportunity to be part of this group. And then actually, we are also thinking what to show or what kind of session we're going to bring into the conference. So we have this topic submission that we review, and then we also, always get together. We're going to move this forward. So that's our thinking most of the time. So I'm so proud that our team has the same goal. We don't have this kind of, someone is different in mindset. All of us has the same mindset on this event. So it's so easy to maneuver that way. And everyone has its own expertise. Like we have expertise in Business Central, we have Power BI, we have Power Platform, everything's covered. So because of that expertise, we able to see, okay, this is going to be what we will show in the event. And then this coming weeks, we are really hoping that, as what Drizzle said, stress-free event.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to laugh when she said stress-free, but I think events, I just think, I think stress and a lot of work typically. It's nothing personal against this event. That's my typical association with events. They're great, but they're also a lot. I know how much work they must be. And I don't know if I mentioned this at the start, but for listeners, I mean, this is about 2/3 of the core organizing committee here for the event who have been gracious enough to join us here, which is amazing. So this is really, sort of the team that's with the vision here. Cecile, you brought up an interesting point about the various products, and Drizzle, you mentioned that too. I mean, different communities in the Philippines with different focus areas, different expertise, and this group sort of reflects that too, I guess. Kris, let me bring you in because you're really on the Business Central side, I believe. I mean, that's a large part of your podcast, right? So yeah, I mean, can you talk a little about that perspective, bringing sort of a Business Central focus to the event as one of the areas of focus?
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of mirror what Cecile has mentioned, I am honored to be part of this group. And I met Drizzle and Cecile at, Summit North America. And we got introduced and they both had shared that, hey, we're trying to put this event together. Would you like to be involved? And I was super happy to be involved and provide any assistance I could when putting this together. Yeah, we do meet, every Saturday and yeah, trying to make it stress-free. When a lot of us join into these conferences, we get to enjoy the hard work that others put together. And so being on that side, it does take a lot of work. And I have a lot more respect to those that are putting these events together and bringing people together. And when the business application side or Business Central side, I remember about 2 decades ago, getting into the space, it was very difficult to find resources and areas to be involved. It was very difficult to get into the space. And now I'm in a position in my life where I want to continue to give back. One of those is, of course, volunteering. And this one, in fact, to be one of the biggest one, because not only it's in the, the other side of the pond, bigger pond, in the Philippines, but at the same time, being able to hopefully inspire a young talent, someone that wants to be in the space, wants to be in Business Central, right? Right now, you see Power Platform, Power Automate, CE. I mean, that's a big community as well. And then on the ERP side, particularly in Business Central, I want to be able to provide another avenue for talents that maybe wants to get into ERP and work in that space. So I'm super excited just to be involved and be part of this group. And I'm looking forward to this community to continue to grow. If you listen to what Drizzle had mentioned, 53,000 in one community. That's amazing. And, I think we can provide an avenue for those 53,000 members of how they can be involved in other Microsoft stack. So it's a huge undertaking, and I'm super excited to be part of it.
Yeah, excellent. You mentioned something there that maybe we could talk a little bit more about, and that's the effort that's being put into bringing in both, professionals from the Microsoft tech space, but also students and encouraging more students and learners, and I guess maybe even career changers to get involved in this industry. Does someone want to talk a little bit more about that?
I can definitely talk about the career switchers. So the Microsoft Power Up program was initially launched in the first Power Platform conference in Orlando, Florida in 2023. And since then, by the end of last year, we had over 22,000 learners from 180 countries that joined this program. This is a free program. It's 12 weeks program. And I have seen people from various backgrounds, nurses, students, teachers, people in technical fields and non-technical fields that join in this program. And throughout the learning of the 12 weeks, and by the end of the program, they already have a mindset for what they're going to do next, starting by certification, which is one of the benefits of this program, that you will get a voucher to take one of the Power Platform certification. So last year, we organized similar event in Egypt, in Cairo and Alexandria, with the help of 2 MVPs, one from Canada and one from Egypt. Ashraf Ghunaim, he's a data platform MVP from Canada, and Isam Shaban, he's a Biz Apps MVP from Egypt. And we have noticed that these type of events in communities where they have heard about the technology, they might be active in working with the technology, but they don't have a platform for the community. And this is maybe different in Philippines, as Chris said, is 53,000 community member. They definitely deserve their own summit, their own conference. And this is where TechBayanihan is coming into place, that we are just basically kicking off such events like what happened in Europe, for example, in Philippines, and then the community from there will take over, and then they will be very excited to have this maybe in annual basis, that every year they have another summit and discuss all these new innovations and evolving technologies of Microsoft.
Yeah, excellent. Just I was thinking as you were saying that about the, it sounds like from what Drizzle was describing, there's these professional groups that are really focused on a single product. And it seems to me anyway, one of the sort of overall themes I've been noticing at Microsoft focused events recently is, and you see this with biz apps maybe in a unique way, that these product areas, they are starting to sort of, not that the products are blending, but that the business scenarios call on more of the products more frequently. And that Microsoft has sort of made that, I would say they've always kind of made it a priority, but it's becoming a more sort of a stronger relationship, I would say. So the role of Power BI as, tied to biz apps, tied to Power Platform, tied to Fabric has become so critical. Just to pick one example, that to not sort of bring people from that community together with others in ways like this, it would be a shame if there wasn't an event like the one that you're organizing, like the TechBayanihan, just for that reason, right? That those groups almost need to come together to the extent that you can make it happen. Not that it's easy, but that it's probably for the benefit of everybody.
All right. And I always see that, if you're talking about we working on now, like even in my work, I have team members who are Power BI, for example. I have full stack developers, I have business analysts, and I have Power Apps developers. And you need to deliver an end-to-end solution. Then obviously we start by the analysis, and then we come up of data capturing using biz apps, and then ending with maybe data integration and data analysis and reportings. So yes, all these groups coming together, like our organizers, as Cecile said, that we are completely from different backgrounds, even within the biz apps itself. So you have Dynamics, you have Power Apps, and then you have Power BI as well. So bring all these different areas. And what we're going to be unique in TechBayanihan is our focus on the AI, Gen AI, and Copilot in all these different areas.
Having started the planning already, are there particular sessions or speakers? Have you already identified the schedule, or is it still being planned at this point? Cecile, maybe do you want to take that?
Yes. So we have lined up the speakers. So what we did is we voted for those sessions, and we have these speakers submitted their sessions on high level topic and then skills that they will share something for us to review, and then we did that. So we approved those sessions, and as a co-organizer, we also gonna speak. So I will be speaker, and then Ahmed and Christopher. I guess Christopher. There's another. I think Drizzle. I'm not sure who else, but I think Sen also a speaker. So we are really excited on these sessions because it is a mix of different topic.
All right, great. And I was just thinking back to, I think, Ahmed, you mentioned this, that students will get access to taking a certification, which has a real cost to it, right? I mean, it's not a trivial amount of money or anything like that. That's a nice benefit to attendees who sort of meet those qualifications, right?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that we have few community sessions, and we will have actually a community booth there. And we're going to heavily try to get students to sign up for the Power Up program. It's a very simple sign-on with very basic information. And a waiting list is like 4 to 5 weeks now until you enroll in the next cohort. So yes, definitely we're going to highlight on what are the benefits that they will get this program. So now after attending the conference in Philippines, they have kind of action items, what to do next. So if you like what you see, if you want to excel, and what about even getting free certification, and you have a 12 weeks of preparation, a self-paced program with a lot of videos that talk you through different modules and exercises. So it's going to be kind of like the incentive for them to a next action item after the conference, what to do next if I want to really get engaged in this kind of technologies.
And there's a real effort to get more students to the event too. I think, Cecile, you had mentioned to me in planning this that you're actually looking specifically for sponsors just to help with that initiative, right? Bringing more students, more trainees into the event.
Yes, exactly. So this is initially we offer this to Microsoft partners, to sponsors. And I was really thinking, there are other companies out there, not really Microsoft partners, other companies who's willing to sponsor our students in the Philippines to attend for free, because I'm sure there are other students out there who has skills but not able to afford the fee. So I'm really hoping, we will have more companies who will be sponsoring those students, and I'm sure this will really life changing for them.
And Cecile, are we able to share what that cost would be for a student to join? Or maybe Drizzle can answer that.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yes, the fee for students is $40.
So if listeners want to, maybe we can put some links into the show notes as well to explain how to get involved if you do want to sponsor students to attend this event and improve their training and put them on the path toward this kind of a role, which I think anyone listening to this probably agrees that it's a great line of work to introduce young people to.
Yeah, if I can just jump in just a little bit on that. I think we take those things for granted to some degree. And $40 for this event for a student in the Philippines could be very life-changing for $40. I mean, that's like 4 cups of coffee that people typically drink in a day. And so if you give that an opportunity for a student for life-changing that can make a difference in the world because they are creative, they have ideas, but they don't just have that opportunity to be able to, get started. And this alone can help. Again, one community, 53,000 people, one of those member can also make a big difference for them as well. So we're super excited that this event's happening and giving them an opportunity for that. So if you're willing to sponsor a student to join and give them an opportunity, it's life-changing.
Yes, I agree with Chris. This is going to be for those who wanted to have a free entrance. So those students will submit their grades, and then who are doing really well in their school and really interested to learn more about Microsoft products, then we will screen those applicants, and then we will have a screening before, I think, by end of July. Then we still have 1 month to really get all the sponsors. So we really, really appreciate those who will sponsor 1 or 2, or how many students you want to sponsor. Very welcome.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely include some links on how to get involved in that, how to help sponsor some students to attend the event. I was just looking through the site as well. I saw that there's also fundraising through T-shirt sales as well. Is that to help? Is that on the student side too?
That's right.
That's correct.
Yep, some pretty good looking shirts there. Are there other volunteer opportunities for people who live and work in the Philippines, or I guess for others who want to get involved in the event?
Absolutely. We're always looking for volunteers, to continue to progress this community and finding ways and ideas to grow. And of course, we're going to have tons of future conferences as well for the community in the Philippines. So we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, anything else you're looking forward to? Anything else about the site or about your trips to Manila? For those of you who, I think all of you now online are not in Manila right now. You're all actually scattered across the world. I think we had about 10 hours of time zones on this call. But anything else you're looking forward to about the conference experience, the time in Manila that while you'll be there for the event?
I'll speak a little bit on that. So I'm pretty excited. I have not been to the Philippines since 1997. I think I was pretty young. I think I was in my early teens since the last time I've been there. What I'm most excited about is to be able to interact with younger talents. And not only that, but nobody realized that Philippines mostly all English speaking. So if you've never visited the Philippines and you want to go visit it to join this conference, you won't get lost. Everyone will be able to speak English. On top of that, one of the most friendliest people in the world, and so I'm super excited on and just being there and talking to the different people that will be joining this conference.
And I think you already mentioned this is a first time visiting the Philippines for you.
That is, yes. It's my first time to Philippines, and one of actually the students who attended one of the cohort of Microsoft Power Up program, they are in a different province, basically like a different city. It's like 1 hour flight, but they are coming to attend also the conference, and we'll meet there. So this is going to be an amazing opportunity to meet some of my students and see what they have done so far after that program. Culture-wise, I already started actually, obviously, looking up things, and I have things lined up I will stay there for like 10 days. So try to make best experience ever. So I'm here in Memphis. I obviously don't have any like beach or something. So I'm going to try to definitely take advantage of this. Look like there is a lot of things that you can do in Philippines and in Manila specifically. And I like just to walk in different markets, shopping centers, try different foods. I know that I will enjoy it. And I have Cecile there. So Doher is going to be there. Maybe Chris is like me, kind of like we don't know where to go, but we have good guidance.
Yeah. What about you, Cecile? What are you looking forward to?
Yes, I'm so excited because I work in the Philippines as a consultant for 7 years. So I'm gonna see some of them, my office mates back then. They will be attending. Some of them became our sponsor. So I'm really looking forward to meet them and really have a great time during the conference. It's always been great to be in the conference. So I'm sure it will be the same thing in the Philippines.
All right, excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing how it evolves. Thank you all so much for joining today. Like I said to the listeners, we will have a bunch of links and resources in the show notes, so check those out, whether it's to sponsor, it should be to sponsor a student, but to learn more about the event, maybe attend it, get others from your team, if they're in the Philippines, to get involved too. Thank you all so much for being here. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks once again to Kris, Drizzle, Ahmed, and Cecile, who helped me organize the conversation today. We have some links in the show notes to techbayanihan.org and to the specific page where you can pay for a student's attendance at the event for a very low price. So please do check into that. And that's it for this episode. If you want to get in touch with me, send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.